The Chinese American community opposes AB 376 because it is deceiving to the public in our legislatures and discriminates and demonizes Chinese minorities. We support conservation of sharks. We condemn cruelty, but we do not support AB 376. What you see on the left side of the table are quotes that came from the staff report that went to the Assembly Water, Parks, and Wildlife Committee and the Committee on Appropriations. This was the report that was presented to our legislators to justify AB 376. Unfortunately, many of the statements in the report were erroneous, deceiving, and manipulating at best. Here are some of the examples. In the report to the Assembly Committee, it said, over a third of the shark species worldwide are threatened with extinction. This is propaganda from the Special Interest Group. According to the Office of Protected Resources of NOAA's Fisheries Service, which is the leading fishery management agency in the United States that aims at protecting all the marine life, they categorize the vulnerable marine life in 5 categories, starting at species of concerns, candidate, proposed, threatened, and endangered. However, there is not even one shark out of approximately 400 species listed on the top 4 lists. There were only 4 sharks listed on the species of concerns list. This is an abbreviated table from NOAA to show the different lists. As you can see, there was no shark on the top 4 lists. Ironically, some wild salmons are listed on the endangered and threatened list, and tuna is on the candidates list, but no legislator talks about banning salmon and tuna. According to CITES, that is the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna in Florida, the leading international government organizations make up of 175 member countries from around the world, and their mission is to ensure that international trading does not threaten the survival of the wild animals and plants. They only listed 3 shark species in Appendix 2. Appendix 2 is defined as species that are not in danger of extinction but require control on international trade to maintain their population. As you can see, there is not even one species of shark that is categorized as endangered, let alone vulnerable to extinction. Please be reminded that this data comes from the leading international and domestic government organizations, not from special interest groups, and their mission is to protect endangered marine life. Another deceiving statement in the report is that most shark fins in California are imported, so it is very difficult to determine if these shark fins were substantially harvested. Therefore, we need to ban the consumption of shark fin. Again, this is erroneous. According to NOAA's 2010 shark finning report to Congress, the United States imported 21 metric tons of shark fin, but exported 77 metric tons. As you can see, the United States has a surplus in shark fin, and there is no reason for us to import a majority of our shark fins. Please also note that the portion of the 21 metric tons imported to the United States was probably originated from the United States. Due to the cheaper labor cost to process a shark fin in Asia, we export our shark fins and then we re-import them back to the United States. Also, according to some of the largest California shark fin wholesalers, it is estimated that 85% of the shark fins in the United States are domestically harvested. The report also said, current state and federal laws were proven ineffective, so we need to have more laws. The report did not say which law or why they are ineffective. Shark fisheries in the United States is one of the most vigorously managed fisheries in the world. If you want to be a shark fisherman in the Atlantic or in the Gulf of Mexico, you first need to take a class to recognize the different species of shark and get certified. After that, you need to get a fishing permit from the federal agency. Now, you could go out fishing only during the open season, and you could only take 33 fish every trip, and there are annual quotas for each type of shark. You also will be required to log in all your catches and report back to NOAA. Once you bring the whole shark with the fins back to the port, you can only sell them to a licensed dealer who could trade sharks. As you can see, the federal government is vigorously monitoring shark fishing in this country. Some of the laws that targeted shark fishing include the Shark Prohibition Act, passed by our former President Clinton in the year 2000, and the Shark Conservation Act recently passed by President Obama in January of this year. Besides, as stated before, there are both international and domestic government organizations, that is CITES and NOAA, that are responsible for protection and management of shark fishing to ensure humane, sustainable, and legal harvesting of sharks. In NOAA's 2010 shark finning report to Congress, it said most of violations were detected, investigated, and prosecuted. Again, saying that the current state and federal are proven to be ineffective is unsubstantiated. It is also said in the report that there are only minor cost and revenue impacts to the state budget if AB 376 passes. However, the report only considered the cost for enforcement, but did not include all the other economic impacts due to loss of jobs and tax revenues. How about the domino economic effect? The bill will affect the fisherman, and then the wholesaler, distributor, retailer, the trucker, import and export businesses, and restaurants. If I were to use the grossly exaggerated figures in the report that 73 million sharks were taken every year mainly for their fins, and the average price of the fins at $330 per pound, the annual sales of shark fin would have been a $233 billion industry. And that has not included the domino economic effects. Again, the statement is misleading and deceiving and did not evaluate the facts objectively. Another reason why we oppose AB 376 is because it is discriminating to the Chinese Americans and other minority groups. This bill specifically allows continuous fishing of shark under Section 2021D of the Fish and Game Code for other uses such as shark liver oil, shark cartilage dietary supplement, shark meat, shark hides, etc., and all those that are being commercially traded. If sharks are seriously endangered, as alleged, we should ban the whole shark instead of using shark fin as a smokescreen to target the Chinese American community. Why we can sell 95% of the shark, such as shark meat at Safeway, shark liver oil at Costco, and shark hide handbag at Macy's, but not the other 5% of the shark, that is shark fin soup in Chinatown, it is ludicrous. Recently in the food section of the Chronicle, it featured salmon soup as a good choice, even though the price for local salmon is now more than $20 per pound. The ironic thing is why salmon soup can be a choice for the consumer when wild salmon is listed as endangered and threatened by NOAA, but having shark fin soup will become criminal when no shark is considered endangered by NOAA and CITES. If we were to ban the consumption of any fish, we should ban the Chinook salmon and bluefin tuna first, before shark, or at least in that order. The only reason why the special interest groups want to ban shark first is because the Chinese minority is an easy target. Ironically, if we were to ban the sale and possession of shark fins only in the U.S., the fins would have been thrown back into the ocean and the finless sharks would have been kept on board to die slowly, just the opposite of what has been widely broadcast on the web. Does this make any sense? In reality, most likely the fins would not be wasted. Instead, we just created a black market for shark fins for the United States. Since this bill is only targeting the portion of the shark that is part of our Asian American culinary culture and heritage, this bill is discriminating to the Chinese American minorities. Since the introduction of AB 376, many mainstream media and blogs have associated Chinese Americans as uncivilized, cruel, and anti-conservation. In school, Asian students are being bullied and warned with the statement, "No shark fin soup," by their peers. They went home crying to their parents and saying that they do not want to go to school, and worse, they do not want to be Asian. If you go on blogs and check, there are many racial slurs such as, "If you want shark fin soup, you should go back to China." The fact of the matter is, those people who are filmed finning the sharks, first of all, are not Asian. Second, as you know, many Asian countries are still very poor, so why would they throw away the shark? According to Dr. Jam from Singapore, who is the longest-serving member of CITES, the animal community, He said shark finning is not a common practice at all, and shark meat is actually the major market for sharks. We urge all of you to open your eyes and ears and stop believing all these unsubstantiated propaganda by the special interest groups. Who supports AB 376? These are the special interest groups who are good people with good intention. However, they do not want to look at the facts because of self-belief and self-interest. There are also the bad people who want to use AB 376 to hurt and discriminate the minority. The majority of the people who support AB 376 are those who got deceived by the special interest groups, politicians, and celebrities with lies and propaganda. Why Assemblymember Paul Fong wants this bill? If Paul Fong truly has sincere concerns of shark conservation, he would have banned the whole shark, not just the fin. The hidden agenda behind this bill is for the political and economic gains of Assemblymember Paul Fong and for their sponsors using him to attack Chinese Americans. Let's watch the following video, and you will agree with what we said.
提出禁鯊魚翅法案嘅州眾議員方文忠今日同反對法案嘅人士舉行閉門會議。反對法案嘅人士指，佢哋今日喺會議上提出咗方文忠未參考過嘅資料。
照我哋所知呢，原來方文忠先生呢就係冇，所以我呢就咁樣，我話方文忠先生，砰一大沓多過佢所睇嘅嘢。再跟住呢，我哋仲有好多不同嘅資料呢，一沓一沓全部俾晒佢。
方文忠承諾會揾專家研究反對者提供嘅資料，然後再決定會唔會修改法案。
I'm not going to make any promises of amending right now, but it would require amending if some of the things that they said are true. Okay. And so I have to check it off with my sponsors, and my sponsors will have to evaluate it and look at it, and then whatever they say will be factored in.
方文忠表示，佢亦明白到鯊魚翅係華裔文化嘅一部分。
It's part of the culture, okay, and it represents affluence in our culture. And of course, that affluence is something that we need to look at.
AB 376加州禁鯊魚翅法案原本上星期一交由州眾議院全院表決，但係方文忠臨時抽起法案。方文忠表示，再次將法案提交到全院表決之前，會同反對者舉行最少多一次嘅會面。26台記者陳漢文喺三藩市嘅採訪報導。
After our meeting on April 20th, 2011 at the San Francisco Hilton with him, KTSF Channel 26 asked him if he would consider amending AB 376. What he said to the reporter is this, quote, I have to check it off with my sponsors, and my sponsors will have to evaluate it and look at it, and then whatever they say will be factored in. We found this response to be ridiculous and disrespectful to Chinese Americans since Assemblymember Fong never outreached to the Asian American community, the most impacted group by AB 376, before the Assembly's second reading of the bill. If we did not demand a meeting with him on April 20th, 2011, the bill would have been forwarded to the Assembly floor without any due process with the key stakeholders. Besides, if he has done his due diligence to understand the current shark conservation legislations and the efforts before proposing the bill, why would he need to check with his sponsors and ask his sponsors to evaluate our facts and data? Would it be a conflict of interest to rely on his sponsors to evaluate the opponent's findings of an Assembly bill, especially when he said he will factor in whatever they say? As supported by the facts above, it is obvious that AB 376 blatantly deceives the public and our legislature and is politically and racially motivated. AB 376 aims at completely stopping all usage of shark fins regardless of the shark fins that are harvested legally, sustainably, and humanely. This bill is inherently unfair and discriminatory. We strongly support shark conservation, sustainable harvesting, and protection of our ocean ecosystem. However, we urge you to oppose AB 376 and ask our legislator to withdraw the bill. Instead, we should do more outreach to all the stakeholders and work together with the special interest groups to build consensus.